Welcome back, everybody. It is the Working Brother back at you with another talk. Yet again, back from his holidays, we've got Drago Bosnic with a tan. Drago, how you doing?
I'm great, man, and for the first time, I can really say long time no see because it really has been a long time, and of course, it's great being here.
Great to have you back. And yes, I've not recorded for about 2 months, and we have not recorded for probably 3, maybe even 4 months. Maybe let's round it off to 2. How you been? Long time.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has happened. I'm good. I can't complain. A lot of stuff has happened. I'm working. So you're not the only one who works, but I'm doing my best to do all the stuff that I have to do. And the amount is increasing. So I really needed this vacation, although I worked even then. But anyway, it was a good thing to be able to swim, in water instead of swimming in work all the time. So,
yeah, you actually. How can I say, got to change location but kept more or less the same tempo of work. And
yeah.
You have been working non-stop, but you keep posting in Sarah Funhouse not only articles but also your how can I say, appearances, and when you're hosting also with Global Research and that Lux Media stuff. So yeah, kudos to you. Good on you that you're working on all fronts, as they say. Everybody who's new here, hi, welcome. This is a comedy show. Nothing we say here has anything to do with reality. And we have something like 36-ish articles to get through, so this could be 1 episode, could be 2, could be 3. We'll see how it goes. This is being recorded on the very early morning hours of the 14th. And we'll get to Putin and all that other stuff with Trump and so on too. Drago, another F-16 suffers a sudden hypersonic technical malfunction. Do you want to tell people what this is about?
Yeah, this is essentially very old news at this point. It was published on July 1st, but it's about one of the incidents of technical malfunctions that the F-16s have been suffering in NATO-occupied Ukraine. It happened on June 29th when an F-16 just fell out of the sky, just out of the blue, just for no reason. It probably was a bird or a stone or something. I don't know, but it certainly wasn't a hypersonic Russian air-to-air missile because the Russians don't have them. They had to steal them from America, but they're still not able to make them. Jokes aside. The pilot died, so we can assume that it was hit by an R-37M, which is a hypersonic air-to-air missile used by several Russian aircraft, including the Su-35S, the MiG-31BM, and also the Su-30, as of several months ago. So, there are several...
The first article that we're discussing upon your return, and you're already assuming that it got hit by hypersonic missiles. This is lovely. The best kind of Russian propaganda.
How birds always kill pilots. It's one of the
bird strikes are dangerous, man. Have you seen what happens to airplanes when they get a bird strike? Also, Serbian subscribers, especially the new ones. We'll get to Serbia soon. Serbia is like experiencing a fireworks show at ground level in multiple cities, and it's hilarious. We won't play any footage, but we will discuss it a little bit later. We've even got some memes from chat. They're like old memes, like because the scenario in Serbia is still the same. In any case, Drago, are you happy to be back with Serbia's protesting culture and blockading?
Oh yeah, of course. I missed it so much, and now I want to see more of it because protests are always stabilizing for countries. As we all know, every time when there was a protest or there was a coup, that country progressed very much. In the decades following the protest. I mean, Ukraine is probably one of the best examples. Only an insane person wouldn't want to live in Ukraine today, right? And it started on month. I mean, we could say it started with the Orange Revolution, but Maidan sealed the deal, and kind of makes you think democracy is really good, right? wherever it happens, it's great.
Democracy and protests are the freedom, and you're obviously stuffed with sandwiches. And then I just accept coffee. By the way, link in the description. I'll get to it later. Anyway, let's get back to some old news like we do here. Russia launches multiple combined arms offensives with long-range strike support. This sounds like that Iskander 1000 we were talking about like 2 years ago, maybe. And it also sounds a little bit like that offensive that we were going to discuss, but we never discussed because we knew it was coming sooner or later. There's that huge breakthrough that happened recently. Do you want to talk about that as you cover this lovely
all
article?
of that is connected because essentially the Russians have been planning to do this for quite some time, and this is one of the reasons why the Russians have been going slow, and we've been trying to explain that to most people for years. But the thing is, people don't have patience, and they get frustrated. Oh, but we want to see Russia in Berlin in 2 months and so on. Well, I mean, you could do that, but you're going to lose 5 million soldiers.
We do want to see Russia in Berlin, maybe Paris even. Remember, we want Kinjal to become the new bistro. Sorry, I had to.
Well, pretty much, but the thing is, like, if you do it in 2 months, you're gonna have like, I don't know, 1 million or 5 million casualties depending on how you fight. So, and also you're gonna destroy a bunch of stuff and kill a bunch of people along the way. So this is what the Russians want to avoid, right? I mean, if they didn't, they wouldn't be fighting the way they're fighting. So what they're doing is they're launching these incremental offensives that are designed to erode Ukrainian defenses, and then when there's a breakthrough, then they can just go and hit with everything that they have. But the most important thing is they have improved their ISR capabilities drastically, which is something I talked about several times over the years. ISR being intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. You could also add tracking and target acquisition there. So the entire deal is that you want to make sure that you can see the opponent as soon as possible, and then strike the opponent as soon as possible. And this is exactly what the Russians have been able to do. They have the tools to strike fast. They didn't have enough tools to scan the battlefield as fast as they can now. So now with this improved, the Iskanders have actually proven to be probably the deadliest missile systems in the world at this time, because there has been at least 24 strikes that I can think of off the top of my head, and these have been, well, I mean, deadly would be an understatement, because we're talking about hundreds of soldiers neutralized in each strike. Obviously, the Kiev regime is saying, oh, it's only a couple, maybe a dozen soldiers who have been killed and wounded. But when you see the footage, when you see that these hypersonic missiles that are launched by the Iskander hit the target, it's a cluster warhead. There's no way in hell that it could be less than 100 people, because when you zoom in, you see a lot of stuff that probably shouldn't be shown on live TV or whatever. So, and combining this with incremental advances by regular forces, and you get very good results for the Russian military, which is now packing a punch, and it's using this to break through Ukrainian lines.
I was smirking while you were talking because I was looking at the next article that we're gonna discuss. But I wanna give a shout out to the National Meme Coordination Body, who has not failed to share any of my talks so far. So thank you, Nimakata. But yeah, the meme here is what's cooking. it's what are they called? Koto.
Oh, oh my God! I can't believe I forgot.
I can't remember the name either. And that fly is
Jesus
back.
Christ. It's cauldrons. Yeah, cauldrons.
Cauldron. There you go. Well, at least neither you or I are witches or warlocks, because a witch or a warlock would not forget how to say cauldron. So yeah, cauldrons cooking obviously in Pokrovsk, and that fly of yours wants a shout out. So shout out to the fly. Chilling with Drago. Yeah, so the next article that we've got is absolutely hilarious. U.S. Air Force effectively admits it lied about its sixth generation jet. What? Do you want to clue people in?
So just, a shout out, although it wouldn't be called a shout out, but anyway, to my editor who for some freaking reason put the B-2 and the B-21 in the images, even though that these are not, like fighter jets, they're bombers, and they're not really separated on on generations, because generations apply only to fighter jets. And even those generations, I don't really take them seriously, because there isn't a clear delineation between what a generation is. And also companies like Lockheed Martin tend to change the definitions based on what they need or what they want to sell to the U.S. Air Force. Anyway, now that with that out of the way,
sounds a lot like marketing.
Sounds a lot like marketing, and it plays no part in military strategy. Like a military strategist is not going to say, "Oh my God, my aircraft is a fourth generation, and this guy has a fifth generation. I'm dead." No, that doesn't work that way, because the military is a very complex system that involves a lot of moving parts. So one system is not going to really change too much unless it's really like a groundbreaking weapon or something. So the entire thing is. Back in 2019, the U.S. claimed to have flown the first sixth generation aircraft. Now, and at the time, like they were saying, we built it, flew it in under a year, and after that, there was only silence. Nobody said anything. They claimed that happened. The mainstream propaganda machine was all up in arms about it. Like they were talking about it all the time. They were proposing that the U.S. is leading the so-called sixth generation race. And then suddenly it all went quiet. And then last year, China presented like 3 or 4 sixth generation fighters, so-called sixth generation. They're like next generation or new ones, whatever you want to call them. And then the Americans got really jealous, and then they started saying, "Oh, but we flew one like 5 or 6 years ago." Well, it turns out that the new or the latest NGAD, which is the next generation air dominance, that was recently unveiled as the F-47. Now the U.S. is saying they're not going to be able to build one or fly one for another 3 years, at least. So, I mean, what happened to the claim that they flew it like 6 years ago? Like, did they fly it 6 years ago or they haven't? And if they did, why do they suddenly need another 3 years to fly it again? So somebody's lying. I don't know who. I guess the entire Pentagon, as they as it's customary for them.
Could it possibly have something to do with the fact that the parts are made in China?
Well, it could be, and it's not just about the parts. It's about the fact that China controls most of the rare earth elements, which is something we're also going to talk about very soon. I wrote about that, although it was probably a month after this article. So yeah, it could, that could play a role, but the thing is they could at least make one, right? One that flies, but the thing is they can't make a single one. So it's so ridiculous. It's so interesting how they demonstrate their jealousy of China's success and present it almost as like kids, kids who are just jealous of somebody else having a toy that they can't get.
We talked about how the global American empire, the GAE, is very narcissist-like in its behavior. But we'll just leave it at that. Former advisor to Zelensky office admits Russia could crush Ukraine. Subscriber confirmed, and like he saw our old videos. Like, should we leave it at that and just move on? Like, I don't know what there is to say.
We could, but this guy is very interesting because he keeps changing his mood, and like he has these mood swings, and depending on what mood he is in. He's going to claim, "Oh, I'm Ukrainian or I'm Russian." The interesting thing is he doesn't have anything Ukrainian in him because his mother is Russian, his father is a Belarusian Pole.
He served in the Russian military, if I'm not mistaken. There's a picture with him.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, like, he's he was supportive of ISIS like 3 years ago, and now he's kind of saying, "Oh, we are Ukrainians, but we are stupid, we're corrupt, because of all these flaws, we're losing the war, and Russia could crush us, but it's choosing to go, soft on us." I guess he's trying to ensure his political career after the whole thing is over. I'm not sure if it's going to work.
Yeah, no comment. I'm gonna get that shirt printed for real. And patrons, I promise you will get shirts that say no comment. Why BlackRock suddenly gave up on the neo-Nazi junta? Drago? Could it also be because they are subscribers and they saw like our military analysis from years ago?
Yeah, I think that's the reason. But the thing is, it's indirect, because the thing is, the investors or the possible investors probably are subscribers because they're not investing money in the so-called Ukraine fund. Yeah, sure, it's for Ukraine, definitely, because the BlackRock is a social institution that always wants to help other countries, not to do anything for profit, right? Stupid jokes aside, the thing is, like, they had like I think they had like $500 million donated by various companies that wanted to invest in Ukraine, and they expected billions, dozens of billions actually. So they realized that this fund is not really going to work because, newsflash, private companies don't want to invest in a war zone. I mean, unless they're military companies. So, who would have thought?
Yeah, man. I don't know, this whole BlackRock thing. The main flaw with their plan was they don't own much of Ukraine, and they're gonna own much less of Ukraine and the minerals there. So, like, it didn't seem like something that I would invest in. Not that I'd have any money to invest, but also this is not a finance show. This is a comedy show. We've got breaking news again, Drago. Breaking news. Time is running out. The end is near. Only a day or 2 days left to speculate about Putin and Trump in Alaska. Considering this is for Maya, sent this in. Do you think peace is going to happen? Do you think Ukraine is even going to be discussed? What do you think is going to happen in Alaska?
I contemplated this with several colleagues like for days as soon as they said it. And the more you think you know, the less you really know. So the thing is, first of all, if I were Putin, I wouldn't go there. Like, seriously, I wouldn't go there because Trump still doesn't control the deep state. I mean, he's largely aligned himself with this deep state now, especially in terms of Israel and Gaza, and now also, partially when it comes to Ukraine. But the thing is, he's still not fully compliant with the deep state. He has a lot of enemies, and obviously they tried to assassinate Putin several times, at least twice, to my knowledge. They didn't come close, but they tried. So, and this was in Russia. So it was last year, I think July 28th.
So what you're telling me? What you're telling me is what we're going to see is Putin's double?
Yeah, I mean, if there's a Putin there, it's going to be a double because, I mean, why would you risk it? It makes no sense, right? Because you would go, you would be going to the country that has been trying to kill you. Professor Chossudovsky suggested something very interesting, and that's the Diomedes Islands. And for those who don't know, there are two islands: the smaller one and the bigger one.
I suggested the Diomedes Islands. It's in my post on my Telegram channel. I don't know about this Chossudovsky guy that you're talking about.
Oh, he actually suggested it like 2 years ago. Like, he
2 years ago? Okay,
Yeah, yeah. He
then
sent me
he
an
was ahead
article
of
when
me. Then he was ahead of me. The professor is still ahead of me. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, but the thing is, like, there was this idea. I mean, it actually stems from the from the first Cold War, and the idea was like to meet there in neutral waters on a warship, or maybe on one of the islands that would be secured by the militaries of both sides. And they didn't really talk. Nobody really talked about it much, since then. And then
Listen,
he raised the possibility again.
I have to interrupt you because like yesterday I recorded with Joris, who is a fellow worker, friend of yours from Fort Roos from back in the day, and we were discussing this. It'll be released after this video, but we were discussing the exact same thing and how it would be the safest and the most like beneficial for everyone if they met on a warship between those two islands or on one of those two islands. So I think it's uncanny that you're bringing this up now. I just had to point that out for subscribers. Stay tuned for the next talk, and keep in mind it was recorded before this one. So, Drago, keep going.
We talked about this. I talked about this with the professor. He suggested it, and I said, like, I mean, it's a good idea. Obviously, it's a much better idea than going to Alaska or Anchorage or some other city where the deep state could have operatives who could do something. I mean, if they want to eliminate Trump and Putin together, that would be a great opportunity for them, right? And oh my God, this freaking fly! Sorry about that.
The fly is like I will steal the show. The show is going to be about a
crazy.
fly.
Like it just decided to it was trying to ruin my freaking day all day, and now it's deciding to ruin my recording after 4 fucking months.
It's almost like it's the drone flies.
Yeah.
Did you see that piece of news with the Chinese mosquito-sized drones?
Yeah, I did. I also saw that they are using these so-called, I'm not sure what they're called, but they're like bio robots of some kind, like robots that look like animals, and then they go around and they patrol Tibet, the Tibetan border with them. They look like deers or bears, or it's crazy. So that the Chinese they're gonna have the future, when it comes to these weapons. Like they're gonna be able to do God knows what, and also they have invisibility cloaks. So good luck fighting their special forces.
I don't know about their invisibility cloaks. You'll have to send me a video someday, and then we'll talk about it another time. But now let's get back to this plethora of articles. We're at the sixth one maybe. Russo-Indian military alliance breaking records day by day, countering the Chinese threat in the east, right? And
well, they're not really. It's not really about that. It's more like I know you're joking, obviously, but the thing is, the U.S. has tried to push India into this, and the Indians have just told them bugger off. I have better things to do. And the best part probably is that the Indians are impressed by the performance of Russian weapons, particularly the S-400, and the Brahmos, which is the Indo-Russian version of the P-800 Onyx, which is a supersonic cruise missile that was served as the basis for the hypersonic Zircon, which is another weapon, obviously, but we're going to skip that for now. So the thing is, all Russian weapons, including the Su-30 MKI, have proven themselves in battles with the Pakistanis. On the other hand, the overhyped and exorbitantly overpriced French Rafales turned out to be trash, to put it mildly. So they are they cost twice as much as the Su-30 MKI. They're nowhere as good. They don't allow standoff strikes. Standoff meaning from safe distances, to just to put it simply. While
did Drago disappear?
Those missiles.
We about to lose? Oh, you're back. Are you back?
Oh,
yes, you're back.
Yeah,
You froze. You froze back for a second. The fly hacked into your Wi-Fi.
Were you able to hear me?
No, we lost you just around the time that you started pissing on the French Rafale. and saying
Oh
that it
yeah,
was out of safe range.
yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is, as I mentioned, the Rafale doesn't allow safe standoff range fight, unlike the Su-30 MKI, which is the Russian origin Indian flanker variant. And because this flanker can fire the aforementioned BrahMos missile, and of course the Rafale being the Rafale, it's much smaller. It cannot carry such large missiles. So and the thing is, the Rafale costs several times more than the Su-30 MKI. So good luck with that. If you want to pay more and get less, just buy French.
I'm just looking here at some of the other articles that we've got coming up. We're doing like a Trump focusing period. Trump effectively reneges on his promise to stop the war in 24 hours. Who's surprised? Are you surprised? Leave a comment if you're surprised. Nobody here is surprised. Drago's not surprised. I'm not surprised. We're gonna move on from this one, right? This is from July 9th, and it's the war. A special military operation has still not been terminated. Let's say Kiev has not been liberated. Neo-Nazi junta. Distasteful Trump flattery in hopes of escalating U.S.-Russia conflict. Do you want to tell us what the Azovites were saying? Was it the Azovites?
Well, not just the Azovites. It was everyone in the Kiev regime. I hope am I lagging again?
No, you're good.
Okay. So the thing is, this is literally it. What it says in the title. They were trying to.
The fly is still there.
Oh my God! Freaking thing.
I'm telling you, it's not a fly. Like, kill it and see if it has like a battery inside.
Yeah, I gotta check on that because the damn thing. I don't know what's so interesting about the damn camera. I mean, the only time when it's not really trying to get on my head is now when we're recording. So, yeah, I'm definitely being spied on. This is a freaking drone. There's no other explanation. Kudos to the CIA. You've really gone, too far. The thing is, the Kiev regime was really trying to get on Trump's good side after doing the total opposite for years. Because they want to make sure that the war continues, and this is why they were trying to do all these things like the minerals deal, trying to appease Trump, trying to claim that they're going to pay everything back, and so on and so on. And also, they were trying to appease Trump by praising American weapons, which of course was not really true because American weapons are not so good against the Russian military. They're very, very good, or at least partially good, against helpless people and helpless countries. And even then, Americans have to start. The American military is falling off planes trying to escape the place that they invaded and tried to subdue for 20 years, unsuccessfully, obviously. So, yeah, people can read it if they want to see the details, but it's something that we all know what they were trying to do, and it partially worked because Trump, he officially changed his position on the Ukraine war. We'll see, how long they will be able to maintain that.
As I was saying the other day, recording, the whole Trump and Ukraine thing is just hilarious. It's like peace tomorrow or in 7 days, maybe in 25, 50 days, but 50 days is too long. 42 days. And also Putin is crazy, but he's a serious man. And I respect him, but Zelensky talks a lot, and we need to help Ukraine. It's like, what? It's like he like throws all the things out there, and like what sticks to people is what works. But you were saying something about useless Weapons? U.S. admits Patriots are useless, but Trump forces EU to buy more for Kiev regime. That was hilarious when Trump did that. He's like, yes, we will support them with Europeans who will buy them from us if they have money.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Trump has actually turned himself and he's exposed himself as an arms dealer. That's pretty much it. Like, he keeps saying that Europe is going to buy Patriots from America and then send them to Ukraine. And he literally said it. I mean, this is one of the good things about Trump. At least he's not, talking bullshit. He's not saying, oh, we're doing this for democracy and so on. He says this is good business for us. At the very least, he's honest about his intentions, and I have more respect for that than what the Biden administration was doing. So the Patriots have really suffered heavy losses in the last several months. I mean, we could say years because they've been obliterated for the last few years. But the thing is, in this last several months, there's been like half a dozen or even more, like 7 or 8. Cases of Patriot systems being obliterated. And I'm not just talking about launchers, I'm also talking about the entire battery where they would lose like 3 or 4 launchers, so-called TELs, transporter erector launchers, and also radars and other assets that make the battery work. For those who don't know, people oftentimes just look at the launcher and think, oh, this is the system, right? This is the thing that kills the hostile aircraft. But the point is, this is only one segment of all that. The real thing that you really need is the radar, because the radar is essentially the eyes of the system. And if you poke someone's eyes out, they can't really fight. They can be very strong, but they can't fight. So the Russians have actually destroyed many of these radars, which is far more problematic than destroying a launcher.
Speaking of destroying and strikes and not destroying, oh, there's the fly again. France and Israel effectively confirm that Trump's attack on Iran failed. What failed? When did Trump attack Iran? Did he attack Iran? Like, did it actually happen?
Officially he did, but everything suggests that if he did, then it was a failure. So the so-called Operation Midnight Hammer, which, I mean, I don't know where they got that name from. It sounds like a 1970s porn, to be honest.
I was going to say 80s porn, but sure, 70s is probably possible too.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, but it really is ridiculous. Anyway, the point is, we don't have to talk about the military stuff at all. Like, technically speaking, it is possible. Technically speaking. You could drop bombs on these sites, but could you penetrate most of them? Not really. You have the quartz and granite that are essentially protecting these facilities. But there's one more thing that is far more important, and that's uranium. So you see, the uranium that's used in these nuclear facilities only as a nuclear fuel, not as a nuclear fissile material for weapons, it's enriched at 3.67%. We know this. I mean, this is official data, and we know what happened in Fukushima and Chernobyl. You know how widespread the destruction was, as well as the radiation, the radioactive fallout. Well, the thing is, the Iranians had uranium that was enriched at 60%. That's official data. So if the uranium is enriched at 60%, and if these attacks completely obliterated Iranian nuclear facilities, as the Pentagon insists, then you would have something like an order of magnitude like 15 or 20 Fukushimas or Chernobyls, right? Like, it would be 15 or 20 times worse than Fukushima or Chernobyl. None of that happened, right? Like, I mean, you can't really eliminate radiation once it's out there, right? But it's lacking. Thank God it's lacking. I mean, the last thing a country like Iran needs is radiation. It's absent in all 3 of these facilities. So that suggests that these facilities were not destroyed. So even if Trump dropped the bombs, they were not able to penetrate deep enough to neutralize the most important facility, which is the Fordo, obviously.
You've been on a holiday for too long, and it looks like you've been affected by Iranian propaganda again. And you don't understand. These were the best bombs. They were the most beautiful bombs. They were perfect. They destroyed it, and the mission was accomplished. And if nothing else, how can I say, Netanyahu, his hands have been tied behind his Yahoo back, at least with regards to bombing or trying to attack Iran, even though they're talking about it again in the Holy Land. The genocide hasn't stopped. Let's put it that way. And I can't bring this up without popping this one on screen. This is from 21st Century Wire. The whole Jazeera crew was killed the other day. So, like targeted assassination of their tent outside the hospital is what I read. So yeah, that's still going on. Somebody should do something about that. You think that's going to be discussed between Putin and what's-his-face? Trumpy?
Well, I mean, I hope so. Although, to be honest, it seems to me that the Arab countries are the ones, they're not doing anything. They're not moving a fucking muscle to a finger, actually, not a muscle, a finger, to do anything to save their compatriots. And,
The Yemenis are. The Yemenis are.
Yeah. The only ones who are actually doing something are also getting bombed and starved to death, but they are still, they're still fighting back. Obviously, their situation is a lot better because they have enough land to live. They don't live in an open space concentration camp, essentially. I mean, although it's very close to it, unfortunately, because they are also being starved, as I said. But I don't know. It seems to me that nobody's really even attempting to do anything because they're just focusing on other stuff, and the Arabs are not. The Arabs are as divided as they've been, if not more, especially now with the fall of Syria to the democratic opposition. The situation for the Palestinians has actually been exacerbated exponentially because they have nowhere to go. And to me, the most incredible thing is Egypt is not it's not opening the fucking border. Like at least let the people go. I mean, I had to leave my home. I know how it is, but it's still a better solution than getting fucking killed or burned to the ground, because this is what's happening at the moment. So it's better if these people can just leave and be saved, instead of being killed, all of them, because that's what's happening at this time. And if nobody's doing anything to save them in Gaza, let's at least save them somewhere else, right? But I don't see Egypt doing anything. Egypt is not even letting the humanitarian aid in. And I've seen some justifications. Sisi is saying that that the Israelis are blocking it because from the other side, which could be partially true, but it doesn't exonerate them in any way, because they could have done something so far. They could have said, okay, we have 1,000 Abrams tanks, we have a bunch of aircraft, hundreds of aircraft, we have probably the most powerful military in Africa. So we could do something, right? We could at least organize some sort of show of force to relieve the Palestinians, but nobody's really doing anything. So it's up to the Arabs. It's up to, they're the only ones with any interest to do anything, but they're not doing anything.
The Arabs are not going to do anything, man. Let me tell you immediately, the Arabs are not going to do anything, mostly because Mostly because they're Sunna and they associate it with the Shia crescent of resistance. But in any case, I wanted to pop this meme up as soon as you started talking about this subject. This was shared in Tanka Crvena Linija, or the Thin Red Line channel on Telegram, and it covers basically everything. Look at this. It's beautiful. We've got the Russians, the Mexicans, the Chinese, the Africans, and I'm not sure who this is, but it could be Taliban. And they're fighting this Borg monster with universal basic income and everything else that you can imagine, and those hidden faces. And then we've got these people who think they're freedom fighters, but they're actually part of the Borg. Oh, that's who these are. This is the Houthis, obviously.
Yeah.
It would have to be the Houthis. Yeah, what can I say? Interesting world we live in.
Unfortunately.
I'm going to take this little moment to remind everybody, Zaokružite broj 7, or also known as, you can find links in the description if you are so inclined to donate to myself. Because this show and this channel is not eligible for monetization. YouTube said so. In case you thought I was doing this for the money or making money from doing this. Now that is out of the way, I wanted to bring up some Trump QAnon stuff. Trump posted this. Joaquin Flores shared it. American coup d'etat, and this was pointed out in the comments. Where is it? There we go. Was pointed out in the comments that is a Q post from way long ago in 2020.
Oh wow.
So
2020 was way long ago.
Right?
Yeah, it's incredible that you say that.
It's like a half a decade ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Hold on, let me mute myself so I can cough and clear. All right, now you get to see behind the scenes. All right, so Trump is signaling that there was a coup d'etat, and he's fighting back against his lawfare people. Oh, should we get into this? It's 41 minutes in, or should we do a little meme about the protesters first? Let's do a meme about the protesters, just to trigger them a little bit in case they're here. This was sent in by Vex. I can't say it's wrong. It's like pretty much spot on. I'll leave a link to the usual episode of us discussing the protests, in case anyone's interested. But yeah, there's like protests all over, and they're shooting each other with fireworks, and there's people pretending to do citizens arrests of people who are supporting supposedly the government. And it's just funny because it's like, okay, what now? You, the blockaders, decided that you have the right to do citizens arrests en masse? Okay, so next time that I run into you people on the road, I'm gonna be doing citizens arrests. See how that goes. Next time I see a cyclist in the fucking not wrong lane on the fucking road, I'm just gonna citizen arrest him and like take him with his bicycle to the police station using the bike lane. Like I'll just like put him on the back of the bicycle like they do with the horses when you like bounty when you get a bounty on someone. U.S. now openly seeks to encircle Russia through the so-called Zangezur corridor.
Zangezur corridor, yeah.
Could this have to do anything with the Rimland theory that was also discussed here ad nauseum?
Yeah, obviously. The interesting thing about all this is like I wrote this like a month ago. I mean, I've been writing about the Zangezur corridor like for years. I don't know, 5 years or something, since the Nagorno-Karabakh war started. I mean, the second one. So the thing is, this is like terrible for Russia, and I said it from the beginning that Pashinyan was in on it from the very beginning. That he was pro-Turkish. I found some articles by Pashinyan from 1993. So that was like 2 years after the fall of the Soviet Union. That was when Turkey pretty much closed the border with Armenia and did everything it can to isolate Armenia. So he said, and I quote, I paraphrase actually because I don't remember the exact quote, but I can give the gist of it. He said that Armenia needs to cut ties with Russia and restore ties with Turkey. I mean, restore, whatever the hell that means, because they never really had ties with Turkey, because Turkey has been trying to exterminate Armenians for centuries. So the thing is, he's essentially
hold on. That sounds a lot like these protesters here who want us to like reestablish ties with those Ustasha that were mentioned in that meme. Like the parallels are like uncanny.
Yeah. I was just about to say that. So the thing is, like, can you imagine Serbs having any sort of an alliance with the Croats or Albanians?
Imagine.
Or I don't know.
I don't have to imagine. I have to look outside. There's like literal Ustasha in the streets, and there's like literal fucking concerts of Ustasha supporters. There's like songs. Like, did you miss it, by the way? The Ustasha singer Severino or whatever put out a song that's called Pumpai, as in pump it. Like the protesters.
I missed it.
And in case you also missed it, but I don't think you missed this part, that bloody hand symbol is an Albanian fucking symbol. So it's like I don't have to imagine any of the scenario. Like, I'm living it. It's like right outside. I'm debating on getting some pepper spray or some drones.
So the interesting thing is, this guy is justifying the betrayal of Artsakh, which is the native Armenian name for Nagorno-Karabakh, just like certain parts of the opposition are saying, well, we don't really need Kosovo because it's the reality is we lost it. Who gives a damn? It's just like
the reality is
Serbian
3 to 4 Chinese laptops, each with 7,000 drones, and like 6 to 12 hour operation, and then like it's done, fait accompli. And then we can talk about getting back Ukraine, and securing Bosnia. But all of that, did you hear what's his name, that guy, the Russian Solovyev? He was saying this special military operation is not going to be the last one, and he was actually commenting precisely on this and the fact that NATO in Turks in Russia's backyard is not nice. There might have to be some other military experimenting with new technologies.
And I've been saying this, obviously not just me, because there's a bunch of other people who have been saying it. It doesn't make sense for Russia to allow the Zangezur corridor or any other corridor that would allow Turkey to move into the Caucasus and from there to move into Central Asia, because Turkey has this volatile mix of neo-Ottomanism, pan-Turkism, and political Islam. So for those who don't know, neo-Ottomanism is essentially the ideology that Turkey needs to expand in areas where the Ottoman Empire existed over 100 years ago. And political Islam means that Turkey wants to present itself as the leader of the Islamic world. I don't know which part is funnier, the neo-Ottomanism with the pan-Asian let's go to Afghanistan all the way and further because Brzezinski said so, or the Kafir sect, disbeliever, pornography and prostitution capital, children smuggling, etc., organ harvesting hospitals and jihadi, whatever, as the leader of the Muslim world. It's like, bro, even Sunni Muslims I know are Turks are beyond Muslim, they're just the Turks are like this monstrous mix of God knows what, and like they're nowhere. Like they don't belong. They don't really belong. I mean, I don't really see them as part of the Muslim world, and I don't see them, much less a leader of the Muslim. I mean, it's ridiculous. First of all, if you're in Israel, if you're the bitch of Israel, how the hell can you be the leader of the Muslim world? First, that's the first thing.
Hey! Don't talk about Saudi Arabia like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but seriously, like you have Azerbaijan and you have Turkey, which we know are allied to Israel. We know that the Turks are pretty much delivering weapons that are being used to kill the Palestinians, but they keep saying, the evil Israelis are killing them. We need to help them, but they're not doing anything. They're not really, they're not. On the contrary, they're helping the Israelis, even though they're trying to present themselves as they're not doing that. So now they want to obliterate another Christian nation. Unfortunately, we have Pashinyan to help them with that. And of course, the results are going to be catastrophic for the Armenians, but also it's going to be a trouble for Russia, and not just Russia, because moving into Central Asia is good for NATO because they are getting behind the backs of the Russians, the Iranians, and the Chinese. So I don't really see how China, Russia, and Iran are going to allow this to happen. There's no way they're going to allow the West to move into Central Asia and destabilize the region, making another Ukraine, but like it will be far worse because it will be a combination of Ukraine and Afghanistan, because those areas, would be brimming with a bunch of these Islamic democratic oppositions that the CIA really has very, very good ways of controlling. So, it's funny how that works. The Israelis are doing what they're doing in Palestine, but there are no terrorist attacks against them. The Russians are not doing anything to the Muslim people anywhere, but there are terrorist attacks in Russia. So it's very, very interesting how that works.
That CIA fly wants a shout out for the Afghanistan stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got to move on from Russia's underbelly. And we're going to go all the way to Moscow. Trump allegedly demanded Zelensky hit Moscow after disappointing Putin call. I don't know, like, who's this? Let me play along. Who's the source for this? Like, is this Ukrainian Pravda?
This is why I said allegedly. It's the Financial Times. So,
oh my God,
I don't know if this is true, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. I didn't know what to write that day. This seemed like the most interesting piece of news, and that was the reason why I wrote it. So,
all right. What can I say? Financial Times, wet fantasies, and or possibly somebody posing as Trump. Who's Lindsey Graham, the chameleon Capitol Hill who wants to bomb Russia? This guy, man. This guy's like, whatever the trending war is, he's like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Oh, yeah. This is what I wrote in the article. There's not a single war that Lindsey Graham hasn't supported. Like a single one. Like I challenge all the viewers to name just one war that wasn't supported by Lindsey Graham or pushed by Lindsey Graham. I'm gonna send you $1,000, like personally.
Listen, I didn't read the article, but I'm glad to see that. Like I'm still on point with my presumptions of what these articles are gonna say.
Yeah, 100%. Like this guy, I really, let all my frustration go against him, because I really I can't stand this fucking guy, because every time he opens his mouth, it's about trying to justify, the murder of a bunch of people anywhere. So I'm thinking, how does this guy, I mean, I understand he doesn't have any moral qualms about anything, but how the fuck does he sleep? Okay, you make money, but you destroy so many lives that, how are you not getting all the bad karma, or at least the bad karma is. Oh yeah, obviously. This guy is not a human being. That's for sure.
Everybody gets what's coming to them. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
As we like to say, возмездие. Russian long-range strikes obliterate foreign assets in NATO-occupied Ukraine. Long-range strikes, NATO occupied. That makes me look forward to the future of Kosovo. What were you gonna say? Were these the British and American super extra cool commando forces?
Among other things, yes. And the thing is, they also destroyed a bunch of equipment, especially the Israeli so-called IMHR, or Improved and Enhanced Multi-Mission Hemispheric Radar. This is like a sort of a radar that does a bunch of things. Like, it's not just ISR, it's also detecting when artillery strikes are incoming. And guess what? An artillery strike destroyed this system, so it doesn't really work, I guess. Or at least not against the evil Russians. So the thing is, there were also foreign mercenaries that were obliterated in one of these strikes, and there was a combination of using the Tornado S, which is like this Russian modernized Smerch multiple launch rocket system, and of course the Iskander system that was used to obliterate from longer ranges, because the Tornado S is more like a tactical system. So it's interesting also because the Tornado S has this so-called 9M544 rocket that has a range of over 200 kilometers. So the good thing about that is that it can replace much of the strikes that need to be done with the Iskander, because the Iskander is like, sometimes it's overkill. You know, if you need to destroy like a unit of 50 guys, you don't always need to use an Iskander to do that.
So what you're saying is the Russians are so running out of missiles that they've started delegating the missile types to the appropriate ones, so they're not wasting the like super overkill missiles. Like they're saving the like, you know, level 6 weapons for like the things that they need to, and they're using only the level 3 weapons until they need to. All right, yeah, they're still running out of missiles 2.5, 3 years later, which is probably why the Europeans still think that this is a good idea. How viable is a U.S. NATO threat of faster than ever takeover of Kaliningrad? These people are nuts. Like, if they step like 10, 15 meters into Kaliningrad, so many Kinjals are going to be like flying, so many Skanders, so many. Like, I don't understand what these people are thinking. Like, they like. How is it not clear that as soon as like a NATO tank turns its turret towards Kaliningrad, there like half of Europe is going to be ashes? You know?
Well, pretty much, and this is one of the things I argued in the article. The Poles are saying there's at least 100 thermonuclear weapons in Kaliningrad. So if that's true, that's around half of what the entire arsenal of France is, which is around 200 nuclear weapons. The rest of Russia has around 6,000. So even if Russia said, fuck Kaliningrad, you know, you're on your own, they would still obliterate half Europe. You know, like half of Europe would be ashes, as you said, or radioactive parking lot.
So you're saying that Russia can be like, sorry, we can't help you today. Like, we're busy, we're doing other shit. Like, we're dealing with the China and like the whole America invading China and China trying to like recapture Taiwan thing today, and the Poles and all these poodles try and go for Kaliningrad, and Kaliningrad by itself can like wipe out all of Europe. That's what I'm understanding from you.
Well, maybe not all of Europe, but most of Europe.
The critical parts.
Critical parts like London, Paris, you know. And the thing is, they have the Iskander 1000, which means they can now reach London. So, good luck with that.
Not only London, but like also here. We're actually really, really close to all the action. Much closer than it feels like. Hello, CIA fly. Russia.
By the way, sorry for interrupting you. I just want to say the guy who said that he's going to take over Kaliningrad very, very fast, his name is Christopher Donahue, and he was the last American soldier to leave Afghanistan. So I'm interested. You know, I'm really puzzled. The guy who ran away from the Taliban thinks he can defeat the Russians and their thousands or their hundreds of nuclear weapons in that small part of Russia. So, I mean, that's a lot of, you know, optimism for a guy who ran from the Taliban. So good luck with that.
That qualifies him to talk about that just about as much as Scott Ritter is qualified to talk about anything. Um, Russia obliterates 3 patriots as neo-Nazis junta, and NATO whine about it. Yeah, we kind of covered this already, right?
Yeah, yeah. But this is another, this is another
another instance.
moment
Yeah,
where the Patriots that supposedly can shoot down Kinjals and Sirkins, but suddenly Iskanders are able to obliterate them, and 3 batteries, no less. So again, it's very interesting how reality is matched with the Kiev regime propaganda. It's if I were a conspiracy theorist, I would say the propaganda doesn't really work. But anyway, that would be anti-democratic, so I'm not going to say that.
Yet another. This is not the same article. This is another article with a similar story. The last one was about an American jet. This one is about a French jet. Mirage 2000, 2000 being like, a long time ago. And this being combat proven in Libya, where there wasn't much combat. But yeah, what can I say? Like, it got shot down, right? Moving on.
Yeah, yeah. The interesting thing is, you said 2000 was a long time ago. Well, I just want to point out the number 2000 doesn't have anything to do with the year 2000, because this jet was introduced in 1984. So it's actually far worse than people think. The Ukrainians got these 40-year-old jets from France, which are actually...
Mirage 2000, time out. Mirage 2000 is French marketing? I've been a victim of French marketing this whole time. I thought it was like a jet that was around the 2000. I thought like 97, maybe. But 84?
No. Yeah. They probably thought, it's cool because it's going to be relevant in the year 2000.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculous. I mean, it was relevant in the year 2000, against a lot of countries, because there were, a lot of countries had older jets at the time. But against Russian jets, modern Russian jets, not so much. And we actually talked about this like 2 years ago, as you said, where we said, they don't really stand a chance. They don't have the weapons. They don't have anything. And these are old jets. And it turned out, that this sudden hypersonic malfunctions are really a common theme in Ukraine, especially when it comes to Western jets.
We've got another jet article, and then I'm going to call this the first recording because we're over the hour, and I just want to keep them relatively brief for my editing and note-taking purposes. But yeah, major success, quote-unquote, for the F-35 as it finally takes to the skies after 40 days in a hangar. Is this the British one?
Yeah, the F-35B. And just as this was, closing down and as people started forgetting about it, there was another incident with an F-35B, also British, that had to make a hard landing, like literally just a few days after I wrote this. It's ridiculous. And the thing is, it's almost like karmic justice, because Trump tried to force India to buy these things, and of all places where it could have happened, it happened in India. That they had to, they were forced to land, and it was a light monsoon breeze, it seems, that sent the F-35 to the hangar. And I wrote an article about this because I found it very, very interesting that a light breeze can cause the F-35 to end up over a month, like almost a month and a half, out of service. And I'm thinking, imagine a real war, like imagine a real shooting war where you have Iskanders flying and, dropping on your fucking head, on your base, on your runway, everything, on your supply lines, on whatever. How long would it take the F-35 to fly in those conditions if it can't operate in so-called peacetime in areas where there's no war? So, it's food for thought.
It would take probably long, but not as long as it's taking us to get images, satellite images of Israel and the damage that was caused. Like, where are those images? Like, nobody has satellite images of Israel? Nobody? Like, really? Nobody has them? Like, have you seen satellite? I haven't seen any satellite images. You know what I mean? Like, well, why is it taking so long? In any case, Drago,
I guess because the Iranians didn't destroy anything, right? I mean, the Iranian missiles don't work. I guess that's the reason. Yeah.
Drago, I'm playing the music. You know the drill. Do you have anything to say to these nice people who stuck around all the way to the end?
Yeah. Keep following the mainstream media. They never lie.
Drago with the classic jokes. All right, everyone, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment for the fly. Drago, see you soon. Peace.
See you soon.